Hello everybody, and welcome back to Research Reality, and another video in the Daily Debrief section, which, as the title might unintentionally suggest, is less about uploading videos daily and more about random thoughts and experiences from daily life. Random thoughts of pontification, random observations, that kind of thing. So this time around we're talking about Jon Stewart, The Daily Show, and perhaps unexpectedly, Bill O'Reilly. Jon Stewart, political commentator, host of The Daily Show, and a prominent activist when it comes to getting veterans the care that they need. His efforts are definitely something to behold, and are much needed. Because the government's so dysfunctional that you need a political comedian to actually enact change, but hey, whatever. Go figure. Then you have Bill O'Reilly, also a prominent political commentator, author of a rather popular book series, and someone who paid a huge settlement for doing really bad things. Seriously. So initially, I really wasn't sure why Jon would have him on the show after the allegations and after that settlement. A settlement that included a $34 million price tag, according to reporting. But they do have a pretty extensive history with each other. They've done a lot of shows over the years. I think they actually had a debate, just the two of them at one point, sort of like a presidential debate. But after watching the interview itself, I see why Jon had him on the show. So Bill O'Reilly has written a number of books about political assassinations. There's Killing Kennedy, Killing Lincoln, Killing Jesus, Killing Reagan. So I guess you could consider him a subject matter expert when it comes to things of this nature. So in the wake of the attempted assassination on Trump, I guess Jon brought O'Reilly on the show for really a number of reasons. Not only because O'Reilly has a number of books under his belt dealing with that sort of thing, but also, like I said, they do have a very extensive history. And while the two have very differing opinions when it comes to political ideology, again, they've had that debate, they've had these discussions, they have a long history of duking it out. And really, as Jon put it in that interview, their discussion was really an example of what it's like to have a normal conversation with someone that you disagree with, as they have for years, where you can have that debate, you can have that discussion, you can share those opinions, but you can do it in a respectful way. You don't have to hate the other side just because they disagree with you. Because that's what makes the freedom of speech so powerful, is that you can hear those dissenting views. And you're allowed to have those dissenting views. And that's why I tend to agree with podcasters or interviewers that have people from all sorts of different backgrounds, different political affiliations, different ideologies. Because sometimes you just have to kind of hear the craziness coming from a particular group or subsect and let that be out in the open, instead of always trying to hide or push away and completely discount it. Because you should be able to talk about just about any topic. There shouldn't be limits on speech, because sometimes when people are ingrained within a information silo where they only see things that reinforce their worldview, when they see that people won't even have a discussion with them, unfortunately it can actually sort of reinforce that they are correct. Because nobody wants to know the truth, they just want to go with the main narrative. It just sometimes adds ammo to their arguments. To them. Anyways, tangent over. Back to Jon Stewart and Bill O'Reilly. So Bill actually made a really good point when he said that formal disagreements and formal debates are no longer rewarded in our society. He said, and I quote, "The haters get the big money." End quote. Now let me tell you, I'm the biggest hater. I hate the way that you walk, the way that you talk. I hate the way that you dress. Sorry guys, I had to catch flight and it was direct. Anyways, little Kendrick Lamar action for you. Kendrick Lamar being right here on the wall. Ayo. No, but what Bill said is actually very accurate. Because of the hate and because of the combativeness and the visceral appeal of really tearing into someone, it's very easy to monetize. It gets the most clicks, it makes the best headlines. I mean, what sounds more enticing? Person A gets obliterated by person B, or person A cordially disagrees with person B. Which one seems more worth your time? It just kind of feeds on itself, because if one side starts using inflammatory rhetoric, then it kind of prompts the other side to do the same, and that gets their base riled up, generating more clicks, more follows, more headlines, and the cycle continues because there's a huge profit to be made. And it's not only even profit, it's just the way that the algorithms are rigged to show you those things, because again, it gets more clicks, it gets more engagement. It's going to make you feel a certain way. And when your anger is sort of weaponized, for lack of a better term, it can be very advantageous for those who write those articles or work for those social media companies. Now, this is more of a side note, but I still find it worth mentioning. At one point, the conversation moves to Trump versus Biden, and they're having the discussion, and at one point, Bill O'Reilly takes out a sheet of paper, and he reads out a bullet point list stating that under Biden, gas prices have gone up, mortgages have gone up, food prices have gone up, insurance has gone up, inflation in general obviously has risen. And while it is absolutely true that each one of those bullet points is a genuine issue, which has a very real and lasting impact on the average American, at one point John asks point blank, what exactly did Biden do to make all that happen? And O'Reilly goes, oh, I don't know. Like what? John leaps out of the chair and takes a lap. Because it's so ridiculous. I have mad criticisms of Biden. Trust me, while there are some success stories from that administration, there are still plenty of faults. Many, many faults. But the president doesn't control the economy. I'm not saying they can't have some form of impact, but overall, to pin all these things on one guy is just not the correct way of thinking necessarily. You know, every 4 years we elect a new president in hopes that they will enact positive change. And just about every time it's the same routine where you know there's going to be hundreds of lies, there's going to be so much pandering, there's going to be so much corruption. The system itself is not geared to giving the people what they want. It's geared to keep those in power in power. There's going to be kickback for those who gave to their political campaigns. Those with the money, those with the influence. But still! Anyways, I'm just kind of rambling at this point, as I often do, but I think that general outlook is still very good to maintain, where you can have those discussions with people regardless of what their viewpoint might be. It might not even be an easy conversation, but we do need to start tipping the needle back to having a respectful, cordial dialogue, because the way things are going, things have become so inflamed that everyone wants to strike back against the people that are striking at them. And it doesn't have to be that way. But I think we can all play a hand in lowering the temperature just in our day-to-day lives. And also just the reminder that everyone on social media, the things that you see more often tend to be the more inflammatory rhetoric, because again, that drives engagement. But instead of driving that kind of engagement, it's going to be more beneficial long term if we kind of shift our perspective. Not trying to be preachy here, but that's just kind of how I see it. Again, I thought it was a very good discussion for what it was worth between Bill O'Reilly and Jon Stewart, and it's definitely something to keep in mind going forward. So yeah, I guess that's the video. Hey, thank you guys for watching. Follow me on Twitter, like and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment down below of what you liked about this video, what you maybe didn't like about the video. Do you agree that we should try to turn down the temperature a bit? Or are you somebody that wants to just crank that bad boy up? Hopefully not, but hey, let me know. Also, I do have my Patreon account up and running where there are exclusive videos that you can check out if you so choose. Alright guys, that's all I have for now. Take care, and we'll see you on the next one. Later.